Hi everyone, I'm Katie with OceanCity.com, and we are here with Rachel Ana Dobken, who is kicking off Oceans Calling Saturday on the Seabright stage at 12:30. Rachel, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am super pumped to be going back for another year to Oceans Calling. Will this be your first time in Ocean City, Maryland?
This is not my first time in Ocean City, Maryland, but it is my first time at the festival. So we are very excited.
So what day will you're performing on Saturday, so what day will you be coming in town?
I'm getting into town on Friday.
And do you have any big plans to go see anybody on Friday? There's a huge lineup.
I'm just gonna see where the day takes me. I'm gonna get into town, get my credentials and get my passes, and then sort of figure it out. I would love to see Lenny Kravitz. So I'm kind of like, I'm gonna try and make my way over to the festival at some point on Friday. I also obviously would love to see OAR because they've so beautifully welcomed us for the festival. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens. It's sort of like get through the week. I have my band and my tech and my content people that we're all sort of coordinating logistics, which is a whole nother thing. So, yeah, but it's gonna be great, and it's really crazy to be sharing the stage on Saturday with like Franz Ferdinand and Modest Mouse and Good Charlotte and Noah. It's just like the whole festival is an amazing lineup. So we're
So
super stoked.
when you get contact and say like, hey, like, do you want to join this like incredible lineup of 3-day festival? Like, what's the feeling like? Because I have no idea because I'm not somebody that's performing, but it's got to be huge for you guys.
Yeah, well, what's really interesting is so we played See Here Now last year, which we're from Asbury Park, and that's like the festival that C3 does here. They obviously do Oceans Calling as well, and they asked us back to come to the festival this year. But you don't know the lineup. So you just get an offer and they sort of say, "We'd love you to play. Would you be interested?" And you're like, "Of course." So you don't find the lineup like you don't find out about the lineup until like maybe 5 minutes before they go live on socials.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's obviously like to keep, because they don't want anybody leaking it. And like the year that we played See Here Now, which was last year, Bruce Springsteen headline. So it was very tight-lipped until I don't even know if they sent us the assets until it was already live. And then we all looked
Wow.
at the lineup. We're like, what? We're playing the same day as Springsteen? Like, what is this?
So you
So
guys are like just as surprised as we are when like the
yes.
lineup comes out.
Yeah, and like listen, they always put together such a great show. So it really like for me it's a no-brainer. It's like an honor to be asked and then it's just like, all right, let's see where this takes us, you know?
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
let's talk about like the earlier years. Like, how did you get, started in music? You said you like grew up in New Jersey, so you're not far from here. Like,
Yeah.
what's it like growing up in New Jersey and wanting to be in the music scene? Like, tell us how the whole thing happened.
So my background in music is that I was always very musical. Pretty much since age 5, I knew I was going to do music. It's just sort of like they say a lot of artists, it's innate within them, and they know they have this knowing, and that was always how it was for me. I was always sort of a closeted musician as a teenager. Like I was really sort of nervous. I had bad stage fright, so I always played music on my own and sort of taught myself some things on guitar. But it wasn't until I went to college then I studied jazz. So I went to Bard, which is in upstate New York, and I majored in photo and I minored in jazz. And as soon as I started taking music classes, I knew, oh, right, this is my path. So I'm, for some people, academia and music don't really mix. I was in a lucky position where I think I was really ready. And I also had very open minded, great professors that saw this sort of like blank slate that I had no formal training before, that they had to break bad habits. And they were like, wow, this girl really wants to learn and grow, and she's like sort of this raw talent and she's going to put the work in, right? So
Right.
um then from there it was just like I have always heard music in my head. I write melodies, I play multiple instruments, I play drums and guitar in my own band. I front between the two, and I will be playing both instruments at Oceans Calling, so you'll
Wow.
be able to see that. And then I also play piano because I had to learn that in jazz school, and I write on piano and guitar. So like it's all kind of like a fluid language, and it's just, yeah, I always knew and loved music deep to my soul. So to be able to do it, to me this was never a decision. This was just what I was
It's
given.
what is going to be. So what instrument did you learn first?
So I started on guitar. I actually started on piano when I was very, very young, like 5, but it's very hard to keep a child's attention, especially if they're not like very, very driven on that. And for me, I kind of like lost interest. I never really wanted to play piano. I really wanted to play the drums. I always knew I had like a really good sense of time because I heard rhythmically. And my mom was like, "No, you can play guitar, piano, drums is what the boys do." And I was like, "That's ridiculous."
Get that out of here right now.
Right, and this was the 90s, so of course, and I just think she said that because she didn't want the noise in the house because we've talked about that. Yeah, but then when I got to college and when I turned 19, I said, "Mom, Dad, I don't need a drum kit. I can do everything on a pad and sticks. I want to take drum lessons. I know that this is part of my calling." And they were like, "Okay." So yeah. So then I started playing the drums and I started studying all of these instruments in college. And really got like a 3 year total crash course of like lessons and vocal lessons. And I just threw myself into it. It's like all I did for 3 years. Like I don't even think I had a TV. I just would go to the practice room and shed.
That is like strict dedication right there. So it really just, you were like born to do this, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of artists, right, there's a certain level of like for us to be doing it like this in such like because it's such an unconventional industry and there's so much ups and downs and it's you don't know where your feet are or how to get them on the ground half the time. But it's like it's an
Sure.
obsession. It's like an obsession. And it's like this no again, going back to that innate knowing of like if I'm not doing this, I'm not existing. There's a part of me that's not able to be its true self. So yeah.
You brought up your family, like your mom, and I read that your dad was a physician. Was
Yeah.
there ever a time when they were like, you know, we really think you should like go into the medical field and not into the musical field? Like, let's be realistic here, Rachel. Let's, did they ever try to do that?
So wait, did you
Wait.
know my dad was a doctor too? Is that what
Yeah.
you said? Okay, I didn't hear that if you said that, but so it's very interesting you say that because I think my dad was an amazing musician as well as a doctor, and I think in a past life or in a different life he would have been a musician, and in a different life I would have been a doctor because that was his calling was to heal through medicine. My calling is through music, but I think while my parents have always been very supportive, but there was a moment when I started playing music in college, my mom was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, like get your degree and like, you're gonna need your job in photography, blah, 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 blah." Because, like being a photographer is such a lucrative degree anyway. But um my parents came to see me sing in my first jazz vocal concert, and I sang Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company, Ball and Chain, and they had never heard me sing. And I come out and I'm literally screaming Janis Joplin, and they are like, "What? Like, what? Who is this person? We didn't know that you had this inside of you." And in that moment, they really got it, and they were like, "Oh, she has. There's something here. We need to foster this." So I'm very grateful to my parents because they've been very supportive. But I think my mom in particular, when I was in college, she's like, "Okay, you're taking jazz classes, but like, what are you gonna do with that?" But
Like, that's
made
so
a lot
cool.
of sacrifices.
I
Yeah.
don't I think a lot of music, like a lot of musicians probably had the same thing where their parents are kind of like, okay, it's a good hobby, but let's try to find something to like, fall back on. But it seems like everybody that I've talked to kind of had parents that are like, once, like you said, once they see the skill, the talent, they're like, oh, I was wrong. Like, you go for it.
Yeah. And it is hard. I mean, it's funny because last week my mom and I had a whole like, what's the next step and this and that and what's sustainable. And I'm like, okay, let's just get through like the week and these big, it's a constant like, and obviously life and money and times right now is very tough and hard for everybody I know. But yeah, you have to just kind of like keep putting one foot in front of the other and like have your goals in mind. And it's hard when it's a very intangible career path, you
But
know.
very successful, it seems, for you. So we're excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, doing what I can. We're very excited to be here. So thanks for having me tonight again.
Can you give 5 words to describe what kind of show you're expecting to put on in Ocean's Calling?
Okay. Wow, that's a good one. 5 words. Um, electrifying,
Oh God, I like it.
um, riff heavy, um,
Ooh,
psychedelic, uh, multi-instrumentalist. I'm gonna just say
okay,
I'm gonna play guitar
okay.
and drums. So
I like it.
it's an unexpected thing for some people. Um,
And you get one more.
Probably introspective because my music is very introspective. It's a lot of like inner dialogue, and
I
that's what.
love all of this. I think you're going to have a huge crowd.
Thank you.
You're going to be on the Seabright stage on Saturday from 12:30 to 1:15.
Yeah.
But before we go, we always try to play a game based on your song titles, and your song Always came up. So we're going to play a game called Always, Never, or Sometimes.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay? Saying I love you when you get off the phone with your girlfriends.
Always.
Always. I would say always too. Obsessing over the past.
Sometimes.
Waking up to watch the sunrise.
Um, I wish I did it more than I do, so I'm gonna say sometimes because it's never, but it should be more.
And last one, being friends with your ex.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Depends.
Acceptable answers on all accounts. Well, Rachel, thanks for joining us, and we will see you on Saturday at Oceans Calling 2025. Go check out Rachel on the Seabright stage, 12:30. We can't wait to see you there.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.